So on Friday, we were talking about Herschel Walker's professional football record of most rushing yards in a season in the
Yes. How
USFL.
did you come up with that? Or we talked I argued that how many Hall of Famers did he go against that whole season on defense?
Yes.
And
So
I know you talked about it, and what'd you come up with?
so I found a list of the top 25 players to ever play in the USFL, and I went through there and picked out the defensive players and brought up some more stats and significant stats on them. And these, one thing I want to say about this list real quick though is that Steve Young was left off of the list. Not that he's a defensive player, but he was left off the list. So it is very terrible that some defensive player played in the USFL but had a much in the NFL, much like
Okay.
Steve Young did. Okay, but yeah, this list is based on what they did in the USFL. But here, yeah, I'm going to go through them. We're going to start at the bottom. I'm going to tell you the player's name, who they played for in the 85 season, which is the year that Herschel Walker broke that record. And then I'll give you some more stats on them. So we got Chuck Clanton. He was a cornerback in 1985. He played for the Stallions, and they actually went 2-0 against the Generals. It says that he was a second-round pick in the NFL in 1984. And in 85, while he was playing in the USFL, he had 16 interceptions, which would be an NFL record today. Marcus Merrick, linebacker. He played for the Breakers. They went 0-1 against the Generals that year. He was an All-American in 82 at Ohio State and is still the career tackle leader at Ohio State. Peter Rayford, cornerback for the Gunslingers. They did not play the Generals that year, and Wikipedia didn't have anything on this guy. So,
okay.
David Greenwood, he played for the Invaders. They went 1-0 against the Generals, and he is to this day considered the best high school athlete from Wisconsin. Actually, this year after the USFL season was over, he went straight to the Buccaneers camp like 2 weeks later and played the entire season for the Buccaneers. And then they cut him the next year. He bounced around the NFL for a couple more years. Said he got really burnt out not having an off season that year.
Okay.
Next up is Reggie White. Played for the Showboats. They went 0-2 that year against the Generals, and he was a rookie this year. This was his first professional year in football, but I only wrote down a couple of significant stats for him because it gets ridiculous. But he was two-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year. He was selected to the All-Pro team 13 times. He is a college football and professional football Hall of Famer. Next up, we got John Corker, who also played for the Showboats, who went 0-2 against the Generals. In 83, he was USFL Defensive Player of the Year and had 28 and a half sacks that year, which would be an NFL record today. And he is a member of the Arena Football Hall of Fame. Next, we got Luther Bradley, cornerback for the Gamblers, who went 0-1 against the Generals. And he started as a freshman at Notre Dame in 1973, won a national championship with them in 77, and then was a first-round draft pick into the NFL. Kit Lathrop, defensive lineman for the Outlaws. They went 0-1, or 1-0, sorry, against the Generals that year. And he won a Super Bowl with Washington in 1987. And then lastly, we have Sam Mills, a linebacker for the Stars. They went 2-1 against the Generals. He was a three-time All-Pro in the NFL, and he was named best player in USFL history. So only one Hall of Famer, but some impressive stuff on this list, I think.
Even Mills?
Yeah, no, Mills is not a Hall of Famer.
Wow.
He was 3-time All-Pro, but he only had like 6 seasons in the NFL, I think.
Okay. Wow, 3-time All-Pro. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's not bad.
I mean, All-Pro is better than Pro Bowl. So
Yeah. I usually just left the Pro Bowls off because that's a fan vote, anyways. It's more of a
it
popularity
wasn't
contest.
back then, but yeah, it is now, especially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, better competition than I had originally thought, but had he been playing in 1985 against the Bears defense with 6, 7 Hall of Famers on the defensive side, all
if
at
he
one
would have
time,
even had to play the Bears. I mean, not everybody plays everybody in the NFL.
I'm aware, but I'm just saying the
No, I
results
get
would
you.
have been different.
More than likely. More than likely.
He did play in the NFL for several years.
Yes.
And was never able to achieve what he did, even though he did good in the NFL too,
Mhm.
but was never able to achieve the amount of success that he had.
You know how many players have multiple 2,000-yard seasons as well?
God, there isn't any, is there? Yeah, there you go.
No, there isn't. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no. He had one really good season in the NFL.
Yeah, one
with
really
Dallas.
good. One, what you would call really good. 1,500 yards, only 5 touchdowns.
Yeah. I mean, he was all right. He just wasn't very healthy guy. He stayed healthy all his career.
Yeah, yep.
One season, but
one interesting stat I came across in the USFL for that 85 season, he was the league's leading scorer, which, I mean, it kind of sounds obvious, but, usually kickers get a leading scorer thing,
That's true, yeah.
He had 121 points, and the next, 5 highest were all kickers. He was the team's leading rusher and leading receiver that year, which was cool.
Jesus, he only had 460 yards. That must have been a really bad team that year at 85.
Oh,
he was the team's leading receiver.
He was the team's leader in receptions. There was a wide receiver with 600 yards that beat him out in yardage, but
37 receptions. I mean, that's an impressive season. 438 carries, but still average 5.5 yards per carry. So I mean, that's impressive.
21 touchdowns. That would be an NFL record, wouldn't it?
No. I believe it's 24 now.
Okay.
LT got 22, and then Priest Holmes came after him to 24.
Was it Priest Holmes? Vice versa. I thought it was Sean Alexander in LT.
Sean Alexander, I thought was 20.
Okay, you might be right.
It was very successive. Touchdown record years.
Yeah, it was Doug Flutie that was the quarterback for that team that year. So,
I was quite a bit off. So first we had Priest Holmes. First we had Priest Holmes do it in 2003. He had 29.
Damn.
Then Sean.
29?
I said that wrong. 27.
Okay, sorry. That's still a lot. Son of a bitch.
Then Sean Alexander in 2005 tied him with 27. And then LT in 2006 broke it with 28.
Damn. Okay. Yeah, I was thinking we were closer to what you were saying, 22, 24, but
LT hit 21 in 2002. Terrell Davis hit 21 in 98. Emmitt Smith hit 25 in 95. So Larry Johnson even hit 20 in 2005.
Nice.
Yep. So there's the touchdown leaders.
Okay, good deal.
21 is still a hell of a season.
Yeah.
Even if lesser competition, I think 21 is still good. But I don't believe that we should be counting those records. And I think if you asked Reggie White, who probably did well in both leagues, he'd say, forget all those USF records. Would you think that?
Well, I think if you ask Hershal Walker, who actually owns a record in the USFL, he'd say, no, count that shit.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's
I'm sure Hershal Walker wants you to count that record. He'd love for the NFL to adopt the stats from the USFL.
So, and it does count as a professional football record. It's just that the NFL never brings it up. And I'm not suggesting that we count USFL records as NFL records. I'm just thinking that we should bring up these professional football records from time to time.
All right, but when Johnny Manziel throws for 17,000 yards in a 33 game season for the fan controlled league, and we have to say
that's never going to happen because those fan controlled games are more like arena football, and that's just never going to happen.
I'm just saying, they're professional. They're paying them. Yep. I don't know what they're paying.
That would count.
They're paying them.
That would count as, well, like I said, those are damn near two different sports.
Well, I'm sure that there were lots of different rules between the USFL and the NFL.
I really doubt it, but I mean, that would be another interesting thing to look up.
I bet there is. We will have to look that
up. From 1985 USFL to today's NFL, there's probably quite a few.
From 1985 NFL.
I kind of doubt it. I don't know. That would be another interesting thing to look up.
All right. Well, there's something we can look up for another one.
Yep. I'll see what I can do. It probably
We're just going to argue about Hershal Walker all fucking off season here.
Hey, you know what? Until Notre Dame gets a running back that's any good, then I got the leg up.
Good God.